Now that you've read your assignment about verbs, I would like for you to think about how you would teach these concepts to an English language learner in the context that you teach in. It can be where you observe, it can be where you actually teach now, it can be where you hope to teach in the future. But think about those learners, whether it's a new learner of English or whether the person already has social English but is trying to get into a college or a PhD program. And how would you teach or refine what they already know about these concepts that you learned? Phrasal verbs can be very difficult. I can't tell you how many times a student says to me, "Will you explain me?" And when they're in the lower level, I don't correct them at that point. I would give them a feedback at the end of class about that. But as my students get more advanced in the language, then I explain to them, I can explain you. I don't have any explanation of you. And so then I'd talk with them about the difference of explain to me or explain me. And then it becomes something that the students enjoy and they think that's funny when they're advanced, of course. But I would not do that with a student who is just learning. And these are students that I've had for several semesters and they keep making the same error over and over again. But you could use it before they make the error to explain to them what the difference between explaining to someone and explaining something. And so could you explain the theory of relativity? Or could you explain to me? And so that makes a big difference. And so maybe it's something you just want to focus on phrasal verbs, or you want to explain meaningless do. That one is difficult because there is usually no way that you can correlate that to their L1. There's, with main verbs, it's a little bit easier because most languages do have verbs in their sentences. Now Arabic, they can drop off there to be verbs, and so sometimes that also makes it difficult for an Arabic speaker because in English you have to leave the to be verbs in the sentence or it doesn't have meaning. But with do you need to go to the store? They would typically say, need to go to the store, and if you translated it literally. And so that can be difficult to explain. And so I challenge you to think of a way that you could use a grammar mini lesson and explain this concept or any of the concepts that you read about in the textbook for this topic. And so I don't expect for you to create a lengthy lesson plan. I want this to be a mini lesson, 10 or 15 minutes, in a place where you would explain the concept and then create an authentic activity for the students to do in order to practice the concept. So by authentic, I mean I want the students to actually be able to take this activity out into the real world and apply it. So it just depends on where they are in their language learning. It depends on where they are in the context of how they would use the language. And so think about that and the learners that you want to teach and create this mini lesson. And this can be something that you can take and apply into, for instance, a lesson plan, the 2-hour lesson plan that you'll create in the class teaching reading, writing, and vocabulary. You could take several of these mini grammar lessons and apply them to other lesson plans that you create. So it's not that I want you to create an entire 1 or 2 hour lesson plan that centers on this one concept, but I want it to be a mini lesson plan that you can integrate into a content-based lesson. And then you can use information from the web. I've in fact included some web links under topic 2 that you can use to give you ideas about how to create the lesson and some activities that you can use. But I also want you to cite those sources. And in every lesson plan that you create and anything that you do, if you use activities from another website or another source, just make sure that you cite those. But also integrate your own creativity into this mini lesson plan. And I look forward to reading them. So what you'll do is you'll upload it to the assignment link that is below, and you will submit it on time, because if you submit it on time, then I'm waiting for it and I'm ready to give you feedback. And this is the interaction that we have in this online platform, are these short videos that I upload in addition to the feedback that I can give you. So this assignment is due at the date indicated in the assignment link, and the sooner you get it to me, the more feedback that I will be able to give to you in relation to some ideas that I might have, or just encouragement that this is a great idea, or maybe helping you with something that I have used in the past with a particular group of students that you could tweak what you have created a little bit. But I look forward to reading them, because we always learn and we can grow from each other as instructors. And so I look forward to what you are going to create in your mini lesson plan. So thank you.